Hello, Sukanya. Thank you so much for joining the internal communication series that I run on my blog, Introscope. So this has been a long-running series, and I feature thought leaders. So what I want to really understand is the practices, the nuances. What are some of the ways in which communicators go about their work, and some of the challenges, opportunities. So thank you again for taking the time to join me on the series. Before we begin, it would be great if you could introduce yourself to our viewers.
Sure. Thank you so much, Anisi, to give me this opportunity and share my experience and learnings with other fellow communicators. Yes, I have been following your blog for a long time, and a lot of good interesting insights come up from our peers. Some of the things that are you know it, but you've never done it, and those kind of insights are very useful, and it's a great job that you're doing with the blog and the whole bringing the community together. So
Thank you.
yes, the formal introduction. I'm Sukanya Chakraborty, and I head corporate communication and CSR for VFS Global at the moment. Over 21 years of WorkX across various roles within marketing and communication, into technology outsourcing, real estate industries primarily. And currently, my role has everything that you think about: corporate communications, external, internal communications, and the added element of CSR as well. And in a company like ours today, where you have a diverse workforce across countries, across geographies, internal communications becomes much more important, because you're trying to address the various employees across countries. There are a lot of nuances, and therefore I hope that I can bring out some of the insights from the work that we've been doing here.
Fantastic. That's great. And it seems like a lot of, the portfolio is quite wide. It's what you're working on. So that's great to know. So let's begin by the first question. So what does internal communication mean to you? How do you define it?
So internal communications to me is, sending the right message at the right time via the right channels. Because when you have a diverse set of employees, the channels matter a lot, because certain countries have certain restrictions on mediums, platforms, so it makes it more important for us to utilize the right channels, because the right message in the right time is something that's in your control, so it can be worked. But when you talk about the right channels, that makes it even more interesting to ensure that the right ones are used to communicate what you need to. And how an organization communicates and engages with employees is a key contributor, towards maintaining inspirational, professional, healthy work environments, which is very important. And currently, at VFS Global, we value good internal communications, because that's a critical element in creating a connected, highly successful and engaged organization. Especially, like I mentioned, in our context, when your workforce is very diverse across countries, because we are operational across 144 countries. So that's a huge, diversity in terms of the country nuances, and obviously every need, the need of the employee is very different. So we always ensure or try our best actually to create a highly successful and engaged organization through a more effective internal comms.
Got it. Covered parts of my second question, which is how does it get practiced in your organization? So you spoke about the nuances, but let me ask you about, can you share an example of a recent campaign or any specific initiative that you're personally proud of, and you could explain how you went about it, what are the challenges, what did you do to kind of overcome it, and what is the way you measured the impact of it?
Sure. So before I get on to one of the recent campaigns, a couple of things as to, how we ensure that communications is effective. We've got a very, it's driven centrally, yes, from the corporate communication team, but big stakeholders, or rather I would say we share the responsibilities with the HR team, because they are a very critical, I would say, a team that helps us steer the communication. They are the ones who are more connected to employees. They are the ones who are on ground with employees. So that's a very critical team, I would say, which works along with us. Of course, we have, our internal communication policy guidelines, like every organization has. The whole look and feel is structured again with the help of marketing team to ensure the consistency is there with the brand guidelines. So we ensure that the relevant teams are working with us to make it more meaningful to the audiences that we are communicating with. Coming to a recent example, of course, with COVID-19 and with people working from home in the last few months, it's been challenging for every organization. It's just not us. Every organization has felt the challenge to keep the employees connected. But one of the campaigns we did recently was around the World Environment Day.
Got it.
Now, environment is anyways a pillar for us in CSR. It is. We work with My Climate, a Swiss NGO, on some of the work that we are doing on, funding a biogas project in Kolar, for example, by carbon offsetting. So we thought that every year, normally it's just a one-off kind of a communication that goes out either to employees through a mailer or a social media post saying that, we are committed. But this time we said, why don't we involve employees holistically? And also at the time when everybody is actually disconnected, they're all over the place, they're working from their homes. We thought we built into a campaign, and that's when we did that. So we started it about a week earlier than 5th of June. And obviously we did sessions like with My Climate, for the first time addressed employees on the issue of climate change and what people can do. We got a very good turnout. We did not have place to actually fill in the employees because we didn't expect that turnout to be that high. We got a very good turnout of employees, and there was a lot of question answers and a lot of interaction, which actually helped us understand that, well, this is a topic that it's on everybody's mind. And that's when we realized that, well, it's quite a, I would say it's successful in terms of the idea of bringing together people within the environment theme. Within that, we also encouraged employees to participate, using, telling us how, some of them are already doing their bits for the environment. We called it the Eco Warriors Contest. So we send out, a communication across geographies saying that send in your 30-second videos with examples of what you're doing. And that was hugely successful. Initially, we were a bit skeptical. We don't know, and at such times when people are so disconnected, working from homes, how will people take this whole initiative? But we were surprised at the entries that we got. We got more than 60 entries and across regions. And it was pretty interesting to see how employees, be it the usual things that we know of, carrying cloth bags, for example, but it's never in our minds. Usual things like how people are eliminating plastic from their homes, from their daily lives. Small, simple things, but very meaningful videos came in from regions like Turkey, regions like Indonesia, of course, regions like Russia, Latin America. So it was very interesting to see the participation of employees in that.
Fantastic.
And then we got a lot of feedback after the whole, initiative was over that, and this is from our HR colleagues. They said, let's look for more such things to come, because when an HR colleague tells you that, it's reached where it has to reach, in spite of the challenges of navigating through the organization, but it's reached. The message has reached.
Fantastic. That's a great campaign that you shared. So what according to you is the biggest challenge internal communicators face today?
For a company like ours, like I mentioned, the cross-country, cross-nationality, so the sensitivities, the cultural nuances, a lot of things matter. Even from a perspective of what you're designing, the communication that you're designing, it's just not about words, but about visuals that you're using, the colors you're using. There are a lot of things that, we have to keep in mind to ensure that, it reaches the audience in the right way. Because at the end of the day, if the message itself is ignored, then you failed as a communicator. So I would say to effectively manage communications in a consistent way across countries, across nationalities, because as a company currently that I am in, we've got a diverse workforce. So I think it is that, plus from therefore messaging, the languages, the reach penetration becomes difficult. So I would say, the whole idea of ensuring that you are sensitive, you have to be sensitive, because without being sensitive, it's very difficult to run employee communications.
Got it. Got it. And related to that, what do you think is the biggest opportunity you see at this stage?
Internal communications, I always believe, has the power to inspire and influence employees, to make them as brand advocates. At the end of the day, it's the company's reputation, internally and externally, that matters, and employees can become brand advocates, brand ambassadors. So I think the opportunity to galvanize people's skills, interests outside the daily work, which in turn makes them feel more motivated.
Got it. Interesting. That's a great point. And there's a thought that internal communication doesn't really have a seat at the table, and we need to do a lot more. So what are your thoughts on what can internal communicators do to add more value to the business?
One of the things is, you're right when you say that, because at the end of the day, internal communications, or rather I would say communications, is always the last thing. Business priorities are so high. Even if you know that communication is required, but typically it's at the end of the whole list of things. Oh yes, you need to inform the corporate communications team. That's always at the end. So I think to add more value to business is, one is bring in a stronger focus and awareness of the company's vision and goals. That's one. Second is, working towards making the recall of the values and culture of the organization by constant reiteration. Then even to work with employees to make, like I said, the brand advocacy bit, using the employees to make it an employer of choice. Therefore, you have to promote a more inclusive and engaging kind of a communication that enables employees to have a stronger and positive opinion about the organization even when they are leaving. So the entire employee life cycle is very important. And once we are able to do that, I think, a more connected and an engaged workforce helps to add more value to the organization. So I would say indirectly, yes, of course, you can work wonders. But again, internal communications as a function is also dependent how there are other teams like HR, as I mentioned, very important team in this whole ecosystem of internal communications.
Got it. Fantastic. Yeah. And there are, what do you think are the core skills that internal communicators need or should develop?
From my experience, the whole aspect of empathy, because at the end of the day, you are talking to a set of people, your audience. They are known people. When I say known, they are part of the same organization, unlike an external audience, which is very wide and you don't know who's finally reading and the perception they're building. So this is about, your own people. So empathy is very important. The ability for us to connect the dots. So understand the objective of, a particular activity or a project or a business goal, and therefore how do you connect it with the, communication and the relevance for the employee? Because without the relevance bit, the communication is lost. I mean, you will not reach to the employee or the intended audience internally. Sensitivity, being diplomatic, because at the end of the day, we are dealing with a diverse set of workforce. Very important, again, is to be able to collaborate with other functions. Like I mentioned, HR, yes, but at the end of the day, even other departments, be it your operations, your sales, your quality, your finance, every department, the ability to collaborate, because all of them may have a view towards it, how they would want to communicate their message to the employees. So the collaboration with them is very important. So I think, yes, empathy, the ability to connect the dots together, being sensitive, diplomatic, being collaborative, and yes, a good hang of the current trends in communication, the current trends when it comes to, if you want to do something new, any technology that you can use, being aware of the developments that you can use for communicating more effectively.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's a great insight on that. And there are a lot of youngsters who want to join this evolving, growing domain of internal communication. So, what's your advice for someone who's starting from scratch and they want to join internal communication?
What I feel is, you've got to be a people's person at the end of the day. To be so to whoever is very keen to join internal communication, I always tell them that you have to be a people's person. The ability for people to start relating to you, and you have to take that step. It's not that people will see you and start talking, but what do you do to ensure that you build that rapport? So being a people's person, being approachable, being open to ideas, because when you're talking to vast set of employees, even though they might be in the same organization, but everybody today, thanks to the exposure that we have from so much of information around us, they have a lot of ideas. So it's being approachable and open to ideas. And of course, you should have that natural inclination to understand, how, content can be the messaging. The messaging can be developed, because at the end of the day, if you don't make yourself relevant to the people, as I said, communication is lost.
Great point. And I always ask this question to women leaders. So for specifically, what is the advice for women who are in this domain? How can they make a mark? What can they do differently? So what's your advice for them?
I think we should first do a survey to see how many women are there in this field. In fact, that will be a very interesting thing. And I'm sure most women will agree that, women have some very natural qualities. Like, the empathy bit is pretty natural. Empathy, the gift of intuition, the skills of organizing things. Because at the end of the day, when you have a diverse set of, workforce to communicate with, the ability to be organized, even small things, how do you have a calendar in place? It can't be ad hoc. So working on a calendarized approach, organization, being in a more organized way of doing things, I think these three are very important, which women naturally have.
Fantastic. Yeah. And now, and you briefly mentioned about COVID-19 and the crisis. And so what is your sense of what is changing, what is going to stay the same? And if there's any unique examples from your organization, how you've gone about handling this and reassuring employees?
Yes, in fact, one part of COVID that we've realized, most of us have been working from home from March. And it's not been easy. At least, for functions like us, which are enabling functions, which are working alongside operations, working alongside business, for example, our functions have a different way of looking at things. But people in core, operations, for example, those in the field who are unable to go out, and do their, it's a very frustrating thing for them to be, closed at home. So I would say, the way we looked at it when this whole thing came up to us, and how do you get the people integrated and connected? Again, like I said, empathy was a very big thing for us to understand. So what I did is, with my regional communication team members, I ensured that I was in touch with them every day, because they were kind of, a voice for me, for what's going on in the region, in their regions, what's happening to their people. So that helped us a lot. Bring in more transparency, because the moment, the communication increases from the management side, especially during such times, it just reassures the employees that, okay, there is someone there is someone who is asking about us. So, regular communication increased with management, between management and the employees. We actually redid the concept of the newsletter and made it into a very different format, I would say, a very basic format. I won't say different, but a basic format, because with most people working from home, accessing intranets, accessing other systems would have been an issue. So to just get that off, we made the newsletter very concise, so people could read it on the email and get an idea of what's going on in the organization. And the frequency was regular, and we ensured that there was enough regional content coming in, so that everyone knew what was going on in the other region. We push that content, because at the end of the day, it's important for someone maybe sitting in India to know, yes, my colleagues also in the US or in Russia facing the same thing that I am facing. While the other functions did quite a bit of things like our HR and L&D functions, they had learning programs from home. We ensured it reached the audience with proper communication, with statistics saying that, by the way, this particular session had over 600 employees participating. Are you in the next one? So we did those kind of things to ensure people got together. There were certain things some of our HR colleagues did was, very interesting, regional tea breaks. So in one of the locations outside India, every day at 3 o'clock over Zoom, they got together for 15 minutes with a cup of tea.
Okay.
All of them together, sharing insights, talking how the day was. One of them sharing maybe something more of, outside work. Maybe someone's doing community work there. Someone's sharing that. And all of them, had tea. We also this time did a virtual iftar with our employees in the Middle East during Eid. During Ramzan, one of the days, we had a virtual iftar where in the Middle East, all the employees broke the fast together, everything virtually. So we did a lot of things to ensure that people felt reassured, felt connected with the company.
Fantastic. They're great examples. And I know you mentioned some of the trends like, advocacy and, brand ambassadorship. So, is there any one trend that strikes you in the recent past on internal communication?
I think, from a channel's perspective, more and more usage of digital. Rather, I would say as much as possible, even within, technologies, how to make it omni-channel. Because while today, most of us rely on an intranet, rely on emailers. Is there any other way that we can communicate, any new technologies that we can bring in? So that's something, it's always in my mind to keep a tab on any new channels that are coming up, which can be used for employees. The connect with top management, that's another thing that has increased and will increase if work from home continues for a longer duration. The whole aspect of the connectedness with management is only going to increase, because everybody, even the leaders, now think that they have to be more transparent, more communicative with the internal employees.
Got it.
Because at the end of the day, the employees are your primary audience, because without them, how would you run the business?
Exactly. Great point. Yeah. And, as we wrap up, the question I want to ask is, if there was one thing you wanted to change about internal communication, if you were to look back when you started your career and how it's progressed, what would that be?
I think we discussed this, that the whole idea of not having communications as one of the last items in the list. Technically, when people think about something, the business priority is always high. We understand that. Revenue numbers are always high. You have to, that is required. Without that, businesses won't exist. But while all that is there, communication should be up in the list as well, because how do you work together with communications to bring the message out externally or internally? What is the best way? How do you involve them right from the start? Because the people who are from communications have a different view to things. I've seen that. It's not only because, we are talking today or we're in touch with our fellow peers. We look at things a little differently from the usual business guys. And I think bringing communications right up front will only help the businesses.
Great. These are fantastic insights. Really love the conversation. Thank you so much, Sukanya, for taking the time. Really appreciate it. I'm sure they'll be extremely valuable to all our viewers.
Thank you so much, Aniswa, and I look forward to keeping track of your blogs, because they, as I said earlier, they've helped me tremendously. Reading what other of our peers are talking about, sharing. Extremely well done in terms of Intrascope, and for years now. It's not you're doing it for years now together.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.